It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. I want to start off this video by doing something quite unusual, and that's saying thank you to a multinational brewery. A brewery that is everywhere now and owns a lot of companies, but owns these companies with respect. I want to say a big thank you to Asahi, Japanese lager company that now own Fuller's Smith & Turner, Fuller's Brewery. Why am I saying thank you? So many times I've seen multinational breweries buy and ruin beer brands. Just think Beavertown. Let's just use Beavertown for now. Because or in America, Oscar Blues Brewing Company. There's probably beer companies in Australia that have been bought and ruined by multinationals in Australia. We all know them. The easiest thing for Asahi to have done when they bought Fuller's was to reassess their brands, reassess their old beers, and start chopping things. But they haven't. They haven't. They bought Fuller's about 4 or 5 years ago now, and they've left them to their own devices. And I applaud that, I really do. This is George Gale and Company's HSB. A rich ruby English ale at 4.8% ABV. And it's got on the bottom from the Griffin Brewery, which is Fuller's, of course. You've got the Fuller's bottle cap. But George Gale and Company were bought out by Fuller's. Asahi could have quite easily ditched this beer. They could have just ditched it. They could have said, hey, we're not brewing that anymore. Just think, it's just come to me now. It has just come to me. Just think what Carlsberg Marstons have done. Remember the beers Bombardier? Remember the names Witchwood? Wells and Youngs? The double drop beer, what was that? What were they called? They brewed a beer called Double Drop. It was everywhere when I first got into beer. They sold off the they tried to close down the in fact they did close down the Jennings Brewery, and then the people of Northumberland, Cumberland way, bought out the brewery and opened the brewery again as Jennings Brewery. Just think of all the harm that these multinational companies can do to a brewery. And just think how easy it would have been for Asahi to come in and say, hey, we're not brewing this anymore. George Gale and Company, who are they? I like the fact that they're respecting our culture. They're respecting our history, and they're leaving us to our own devices. It's a brilliant thing to do. I can't remember, I got into beer after Fuller's bought George Gale and Company. I've tried the beer under Fuller's many times. I really like it. This is available in Waitrose, by the way. It's well worth picking up if you can. And what we have here is a really dark, rich, ruby coloured ale. Almost looks like the original Hobgoblin, doesn't it, from Witchwood? Look at that. Good carbonation, good head retention. It's not bottle conditioned. There's no yeast in the bottom of the glass here. Let's get the aroma. Oh, it smells like a beautiful, rich, dark, ruby, sort of mild ale. Roasted malt coming through. A little bit of biscuitiness, a little bit of breadiness coming through. A little hoppy. A little rich and sweet. Touch of licorice. Smells fantastic. I've got to dive in. Cheers, everybody. wonderful. That is a wonderful, wonderful beer. Stone the Crows. Stone the Crows. I've spent 2025 searching out good bottled beer. I'm returning to my roots a little bit, buying traditional bottled beer that tastes really blooming good. And this is a really blooming good beer. I went down to Waitrose to pick up Fuller's Vintage Ale and the new St Austell tribute, extra special tribute, which hopefully is on the channel soon. And whilst I was there, I was surprised to see George Gale and Company's HSB. Brilliant. Okay, it definitely come on the same delivery as the Vintage Ale from Fuller's and the 1845 from Fuller's and the Fuller's London Porter. It's the same brewery. But I just like the fact that it was there. I've never seen this beer sitting on a supermarket shelf before. George Gale and Company's HSB. And it tastes fantastic. It really does. It's got a lovely, rich, malty, ruby sort of malty body to it. It's like biscuity and bready. It's bitter on the back end. It's got some fantastic bitterness coming through on the back end. It's nutty. Another company that Fuller's own, Dark Star Brewing Company, they've been put in charge of brewing George Gale and Company's Prize Old Ale, which has won many, many awards and many, many kind of things along the way. I think, to be honest with you, I think they were a Brighton brewery. Off the top of my head, I'm sure they would. Honestly, if I've got it wrong, I apologise. Comment in the comments box. But I'm sure George Gale was sort of Brighton way, as when they were an independent company. But they brought back the Prize Old Ale, Dark Star. Of course, it's Asahi. Asahi owned Fuller's owned Dark Star, Fuller's owned George Gale and Company. Asahi owned a lot. It's the fact that they've looked, but Japanese, I mean, my daughter does sort of, I'll be very quick with this, a form of MMA. And it's all about pride, and it's all about culture, and it's all about tradition with the Japanese people. And with them buying, with Asahi from Japan buying this company, it just shows that they're completely respecting our culture. They're completely respecting the British history and beer. They're not just, someone like Carlsberg coming in and saying, we're not going to brew Bombardier anymore. Okay, Bombardier was never the greatest beer in the world. Towards the end of its life, it was quite a terrible beer. But just think, Carlsberg owned the Courage name. Remember Courage Brewery? They own that, Carlsberg. The least they could do, the least Carlsberg could do is bring back some Courage beers. Courage Directors as a good beer. Courage Russian Imperial Stout as a good beer. Some of you younger beer drinkers might be watching this thinking, who are Courage? What's Courage Directors? And okay, I get that. But my message to you is to go down to Waitrose, pick up a bottle of this, and taste something really good from the past. It's a stunning beer. Great mouthfeel, great bitterness, great biscuitiness, a little bit of roasted malt in there. It's hoppy. There's so many layers to this beer. There's so many flavours to this beer. It's fantastic. Fantastic. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.